Kaylee.
Hi, Kaylee. I'm so excited to be working with you over the next 4 months. I am so glad your mom was able to connect us and you're able to start this journey for yourself, for your gut healing, for your hormone health, to improve all of your symptoms, whether gut related or not, skin issues, hormonal issues, all these things are connected. And I'm really excited to help you get to the root cause, heal your gut, heal your hormones, and just feel so much better over these next 4 months. So, again, welcome. And I'm really happy to have you here. So I will be sharing my screen with you and I'll be going over your welcome packet, which is about a 35-page packet that I'll be going over kind of the overall recommendations today. I won't be going through every single page, but you're welcome to ask me any questions afterwards, anything you need clarity on, do not hesitate to reach out. I'm available this next whole week for you to just answer any questions that you may have about your plan. So I'll share my screen and I will go over the packet and your plan. Okay. Alrighty. Sorry, just getting everything set up. Okay. So again, here's your welcome packet. And I'll just go over a little bit, about the gist of Healthy first. It seems like you have a really good idea about how to use Healthy. You've been journaling already, which is great. Definitely keep checking your reviews throughout the week. I'll be reviewing your journals with constructive feedback, simple things that you can do and tweaks to make to improve your meal balance and support your gut health, increase fiber intake, increase vegetable and fruit intake. And we can do this, very realistic way. We don't need to, set unrealistic goals at first. Like we said, we could start with like doing the side of a vegetable at lunch and dinner, maybe getting about 4 fruits in per week, 3 to 4 fruits in, depending on how much you're eating now. And we'll go over that a little bit more, but we really want to be realistic with your goals. But again, I think you're doing a really great job so far with your logging. Like, it doesn't seem like you're having a problem with that. And you've watched the welcome video. I know you watched the balanced meal video, which is excellent. So let me know if you have any other questions on that. I have the meal formula as well in one of these sheets. So you'll have that in PDF version as well. So we'll also be having 2 live Q&A sessions per month on Healthy via Zoom. So you can click via Healthy. I also usually post the Zoom link in the Facebook group as well that day in case you want to click there and go from there. But it's really great to hear from others in the group. And we usually celebrate, victories and chat about any problems we're having, really foster your progress and get support. And we also usually have a topic of the day where we go a little bit more in depth on a gut health or hormone topic or diet related topic. So we're always learning, always putting new knowledge in the program. And I'll also I know you have a lot of modules with videos, so I'll be directing you on what to watch when throughout your program because we don't need to be watching everything in one week. I may have you also watch another lesson earlier next week, but we'll get to that. So I just recommend, the more that you journal, the more you'll get out of the program, right? So the more that I'll be reviewing, the more constructive feedback I can get, the more I can help you troubleshoot situations with constipation or nausea, not feeling well, or PMSing. You can even log like, hey, I know I'm getting my period. I feel nauseous. You can do little notes in Healthy as well. Like, hey, I've been constipated. Or just, tell me about something that's going on. You could leave little notes in Healthy that are time-stamped throughout the journal. You'll also be getting a bi-monthly check-in form throughout the program, usually once a month. Well, I would say, I guess twice a month, depending on the rotation, but it's usually every few weeks, basically, where we check in one-on-one and you'll get individualized feedback in addition to those group calls as well. And you'll always obviously be getting feedback in your journals. So definitely, I know you already started logging your water, which is great. You're logging your bowel movements, which is awesome. You could also send me menus that you want me to review. I'd love for you to actually post them in the Facebook group. Anything that is not like a super personal question, I highly recommend putting in the Facebook group. And I usually do like a Q&A post at the beginning of the week, which is where I would recommend asking any questions that have to do with diet, products, menu reviews, things like that. So others in the program can also benefit from that. So let me know if you have any like healthy questions or anything that has to do with like the settings or anything like that. If I don't know if you have like a Fitbit or Apple Watch, but you can also log that with Healthy with which some clients do, so they can automatically log their workouts without having to type it in. So I'll send you a health vision form also next week, but I just want you to start thinking about this. Like, what does having good health really mean to you? And why did you ultimately join this program? I know that you've been having some of these symptoms for a while. So what ultimately made you decide, like, look, I'm done with this. I want to feel better. I'm sure you know that your body is not meant to feel all these horrible symptoms all the time. You're not supposed to be constipated. Bowel movements are supposed to be easy and daily and feel complete. So I'm really excited to help you get there. But I just want you to think about and kind of reflect on what's your why that's going to help you keep coming back to yourself on this journey, what's going to keep you motivated to stick with it. So I'll send you a little form on that, but definitely good for you to start thinking about that. Here's a little PDF on you are what your gut bacteria eat. So what we eat is basically information and food for our gut bacteria. So we can either be eating foods that promote health and the growth of good bacteria, or we can eat foods that are highly processed and high saturated fat and high sugar that promote the growth of negative or pathogenic bacteria. And this does not mean that it has to be black or white, but most of the time we want to be eating foods that are good bacterial supporting and, increase those good bacterial numbers because we're feeding them good things. We're feeding them fiber and fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and herbs and polyphenols. And you'll learn all about what these different things are: resistant starches, fermented foods. So all these good things that feed our good gut bacteria, they increase our metabolism and they improve our inflammation in the gut and outside of the gut. A lot of that has to do with what reflects in our skin and our anxiety and our mood changes. So everything that's going on in the gut is affecting everything else in the body. So that's what is like the major takeaway from this page, is that all disease, all imbalances in the body begin in the gut. So we need to think about the fact that we're feeding our gut the foods that we eat every day, right? So we feed our gut to stay, nutritious and keep our body healthy, but we're also feeding our good gut bacteria and our bad gut bacteria, depending on the balance that we have in there at this time. So we want to be feeding it good things to improve our microbiome health because it plays a large role in our overall health. These are some factors that negatively affect the microbiome, like chronic stress, antibiotics, which I know is a big one for you. So I think this has played a big role over what's going on in your gut over the past several years. Low fiber diet. I definitely think we have room for improvement in this department as well. I do think you need definitely a fiber boost, and that's okay. I'm glad that you started with me, and I'm going to be keeping you accountable, and you're going to be journaling, and I'm just going to help you boost that fiber in different ways throughout throughout your diet. So you're not having to rely on like boring foods or keeping it, exactly the same every single day. We do want variety. We want to make sure we're feeding, when you actually increase your variety, you're feeding different good gut bacteria. So that's improving the health of your microbiome. So that's really important, to not be eating even the same foods every single day. We also want to be watching refined sugar, white carbohydrates, preservatives, additives. So not saying cut these foods out completely, but being more mindful of what you're putting in your body, in your gut, because it's contributing to your symptoms and inflammation and skin health and anxiety and depression. So, and it's also contributing to candida overgrowth, which plays a huge role in UTIs. So I definitely think we have some of that going on. Definitely BPA, plastic. So if you're using tons of water bottles that are plastic, it would be good to get like a stainless steel water bottle or a glass water bottle. So we're having less microplastics being ingested into the gut. Birth control, but I know you said you weren't really on that for too long. So I don't think that really had a major role or anything in what's going on. I'm just trying to look at your intake form. Yeah, I think you said you were on it only for like a few months. Oh, I forgot you're allergic to kiwi. Okay, I'll take that. In your recommendation, I did put kiwis multiple times per week because they're actually really, really good for constipation, but you can disregard that and we can come up with some other fruits that are also really high fiber. So your clinical assessment. So this is a picture, obviously I'm not a doctor, I cannot diagnose, but this is a presentation of what your symptoms and what you're telling me in your intake forms are appearing to be. So definitely think you have some large intestinal dysbiosis, which is an imbalance of those good and bad bacteria. I do think there's some fungal overgrowth going on as well with a history of frequent UTIs. You said you've had oral thrush a lot in the past, which also is correlated with candida overgrowth, fungal overgrowth. When you drink sugary drinks, that makes your symptoms worse, and that's very much associated with candida. Definitely the alternation between being constipated and having loose stools, that is a result of dysbiosis. And it's definitely affecting skin issues. So I've seen it affect eczema, depression, and anxiety through the gut-brain axis, because our microbes in our gut are actually communicating through neurotransmitters and through the vagus nerve, which is the nerve that runs directly from the gut to the brain. They're communicating through the gut-brain axis. So the food that we eat is dictating our mood and how we feel. So when we eat more fiber and we eat in a better quality manner, we're actually improving our mood and doing right by our brain health. So we also think there's impaired motility and some vagus nerve discoordination. So we want to be really focusing on vagus nerve health and toning it, it's called. So like toning the vagus nerve is really good for our motility and our mood health and anxiety and depression. So we'll definitely be focusing on that. I have a motility lesson that I'll be having you watch. And then that also impacts constipation, because when the vagus nerve is not working really well, that slows down our gut motility. So I also think there's gut permeability going on, which is the leakiness of the gut when the gut lining can really open due to inflammation and dysbiosis. So that can affect fatigue and skin issues as well, mood changes, brain fog, anxiety. So that will be a target of intervention. Same with the adrenal glands. We really want to be supporting our adrenal glands, which control our stress hormones. So when you have a lot of these gut and hormonal issues going on, you basically are raising your stress levels throughout the body, your cortisol levels, they're called. So we really want to be supporting the adrenal glands, basically supporting their safety and letting them know that they can kind of like calm down when we're addressing issues in the gut. So they're perceiving what's going on as a stressful state. And then I believe there's a higher likelihood of hormone imbalance due to the constipation. One, because when you're not going to the bathroom every day, you're not recycling your estrogen. So you're not excreting the estrogen that's supposed to be being excreted every day when we have a bowel movement. If you don't go to the bathroom, you're basically recycling that estrogen back into the blood circulation. And then what we get is too much estrogen that's circulating in the blood. And that leads to low progesterone and different kinds of symptoms like heavy PMS, irregular periods. Just all those things that you were saying, like you get like really bad PMS before your menstrual cycle and you get like really nauseous. And so there's a lot of things contributing to that. So I'm going to give you a list of recommended follow-up labs for your primary doctor, because he really didn't do like anything, which is crazy. He only did like 4 labs. And I'm just not surprised, because many doctors don't really want to like commit to a higher, number of lab values, because that money then comes out of their pocket for what they get for the session. So it's kind of crazy, but if you can't get them done, let me know. And there's alternative ways that we can test your hormones. So we'll go from there. So definitely the frequent antibiotics, that has been driving dysbiosis and driving that imbalance of good and bad bacteria. So we're going to gently, rebalance the gut. We want to really focus on your fiber intake, which the body can perceive as an undernourishment and a perceived state of stress on those adrenal glands. So we really want to get your body feeling more safe, feel it, make sure that it's feeling like well nourished and getting that fiber intake up, like I said, with the balanced meal formula over time. I did see that your TSH was good, which is excellent. So I really don't highly suspect any thyroid issues, but it just would be good to get T3 and T4 levels. I have them on the sheet down here, but T3 and T4 are the actual thyroid hormones themselves, where TSH is just coming from the pituitary gland in the brain. So it's actually not a thyroid hormone they're testing. It's a brain signal to the thyroid. So we just would want to rule out any further thyroid issues. But as of now, it's there's no red flags with your TSH, which is a very good sign. So we know the gut motility was over 24 hours, likely due to, like I said, vagus nerve issues, low fiber intake, and that possible migrating motor complex that's sluggish, which is basically like the peristalsis in your small intestine. So it could be slow. We'll assess how you do with increasing your fiber and assess if we need any further prokinetics, they're called. Basically like an herbal prokinetic that helps that migrating motor complex move forward. If we feel like fiber and certain fibrous, I have a certain supplement I'm recommending for you if we find that we're not getting the best results with those things alone. And I do think there's a possibility of gallbladder dysfunction just because you're getting so much nausea, you're getting loose stools at times, which can indicate fat maldigestion. You're getting that upper right stomach pain, you're getting indigestion and reflux. All these things could be indicative of gallbladder disease, where it could be just mild, where the gallbladder bile could be sludgy. So basically, like if it's sludgy, it's having a hard time kind of being emitted from the gallbladder every time there's a meal, right? So when we have a meal, we're supposed to have bile that's hanging out in the gallbladder, that the gallbladder squeezes and contracts and releases bile every time we have a meal with fat in it. So if that's not functioning properly, we could be getting nauseous or getting those loose stools because you're not absorbing the fats that you're eating. Or it could just be that the processed foods or, takeout foods are contributing to that sludgy bile. So we would love to see like more home cooked meals, of course, where you're not having too much of processed foods and high saturated fats that contributes to that sludgy bile. So there is something that we can take initially to help improve fat digestion. So I'll show you that on my list of recommendations, which is not too long initially. It's like 4 supplements that I'm recommending that you get at first to really help you initially feel better. And these are the primary doctor follow-ups that I'm recommending because he really didn't do a lot. I really do think you need a full iron panel, especially because of the fatigue that you have going on. I know you checked that off. I'm just looking again at the range. Yeah, like you wrote that you're frequently tired and lethargic. So we just want to check your iron and your TIBC, your ferritin, which is your full iron panel, to make sure that we're not dealing with that as well. We want to be checking your blood glucose regulation. We want to be checking your vitamin D levels because that can affect your fatigue as well. And it's a hormone. We want to make sure that hormone is being supported. We want to check C-reactive protein, which is a marker for inflammation. So if you can go back anytime soon and get some of these follow-ups, request them from your doctor, that would be awesome. I am linking here too as well the gut biome microbiome stool test, which I do think you would benefit from. I do think there's dysbiosis going on, and this would basically confirm that and give us more specific details as to which bacteria are too high, which pathogens are high, which good bacteria you're good in, all of your different metabolites that are in the gut, the microbiome toxins that are produced and what levels they're at. So I think that would be beneficial for you. If you're interested in that, let me know. It's around 170, I believe. So it's optional, but it would give us more information, specific information that would help us with your plan. I do think would be good too, if we don't see like initial improvements in your nausea, I would want you to get a gallbladder checkup. So like an endoscopy or an upper GI ultrasound or a HIDA scan, which looks deeply at the gallbladder, just to make sure that you're not dealing with any gallbladder issues at this time or have gallstones. Okay, so now let's get into your goals. So we want to, like we said, increase overall fiber intake, have plant diversity. So this will be something that we really focus on in the program slowly over time with some realistic goals that we set for you. I've been writing actually some goals today in your roadmap, the ones that we've been chatting about. So we'll always be updating goals in your roadmap based on our one-to-one check-ins. So we want to really have a wide and diverse range of plant fiber because that is what's most important for a healthy gut. It's a big part of rehabbing the microbiome and your metabolism and your inflammation levels. So it's really, really important that over time we get you to having a wide variety of plant foods where plants are really like almost the star of your plate. You're really getting half your plate vegetables twice a day. Your protein is kind of on the side, and so is your starch. So this is what makes us feel the best as humans, basically, who have this ecosystem in our gut of microbiome of these bacteria. So they love plants. The good guys love plants. So we want to feed them what they want so we can get the good benefits they unlock from fiber. So we want to establish healthy eating patterns, promote healthy blood sugar regulation with those 3 meals daily, using that balanced meal formula. You really want to be aiming for about 25 to 30 grams of protein at each meal. And I know you saw in the balanced meal formula guide, I have some examples of how to reach that. About 3 ounces of meat or protein is 21 grams. So that is pretty close. And then you could always do some like seeds, like hemp seeds or kale or broccoli. All those have a little bit of plant protein. Chickpeas have plant protein. Definitely check out my protein breakdown guide that I have in the document section. And that could show you how much protein is in certain foods. You really don't have to get too crazy with this. I really want you to focus more on your fiber. We want to uncover all possible root causes of gut imbalances. So, we talked about antibiotics and how that cycle is keeping that dysbiosis present of constantly being on antibiotics. We want to maybe look at, if we need to, and down the road, look for celiac or look for IBD, like Crohn's or colitis. I really don't suspect those. I don't think you have celiac in your family, but it is good to rule out if we feel like it's necessary. We definitely could look at the thyroid a little bit more closely, looking at T3, T4. We could look at more underlying pathogens in the gut using the microbiome stool test. So we want to really optimize your motility. We want to really optimize your liver support, because it's definitely affecting your liver when you have dysbiosis in the gut. So we want to support those detox pathways for lowering inflammation. This also helps when you have a less congested liver to improve mood and anxiety and improve constipation. We also want to reduce gut inflammation and gut permeability, support hormone balance and adrenal health. We really want to support that estrogen clearance by improving the daily bowel movements, and supporting that liver detoxification. That's really important for estrogen clearance. Again, definitely check out the part 1 and part 2 for the hormone and gut health, because they're really informative on the relationship between estrogen and progesterone. And then it's a little bit about part 2 is a lot about post-birth control, which you are in for a little bit. So it is just good knowledge for you to see what nutrients the birth control pill depletes and all that. And at the end of part 2, I go really in depth with some different herbs and supplementation that are useful for hormone health, and we can incorporate some of those slowly throughout the program. We also want to be reducing the stress bucket in our everyday life. So the stress bucket basically is like your external stress, what's happening in your life, what's happening, in your environment, any toxic things in your home or in your workplace. So switching to less toxic beauty and skincare, switching to safer, non-toxic household cleaners. So I actually posted below the part 2 yesterday, I posted an EWG Healthy Living app, which is a really cool app that you can scan products in your home, your beauty products, your skincare products, and it'll rate them according to toxicity, carcinogens, and allergy concerns. And that's especially good for you if you have eczema. You want to be really careful about what you're putting on your skin. This is just showing you a little bit more about dysbiosis and gut permeability. So these are some examples of good bacteria that we want to increase, like bifidobacteria, lactobacilli, and the bad guys we want to reduce, Campylobacter, Enterococcus faecalis, C. difficile. So these are just some major examples. We typically love to see increases in bifido and lactobacilli. They are kind of the overall really good bacterial strains in the gut that really help improve our immune system health, regulate our bowel movement, improve our mood. So we do use some of these in practice as well. And you can even be taking them in a capsule form throughout the program, but we're going to start with a different one first. That's actually really good for just supporting like the cleaning up of the gut and reducing some of these lower pathogens. And this is just what it looks like when you have higher levels of bad bacteria. These on the left-hand side, we have the commensal bacteria where you're not having too many bad guys. everybody is pretty happy. The gut lining is intact and it's not inflamed, and your immune system is pretty calm, right? You have a tolerant immune system. You're not like getting sick all the time, or you're not having flare-ups of eczema. Whereas if you have dysbiosis, then we have an increased barrier defect. So the intestinal lining is impaired. We have increased inflammation there. We have a dysregulated immune response. So you're getting autoimmune issues that are flaring up in the skin. You're getting just inflammation throughout the body. It affects our brain inflammation and mood and anxiety. So this, we want to get it back to on the left where everything is in a better state of homeostasis. And this is just a little bit about Candida, because like I said, I believe you have some Candida overgrowth growing on. So it's a naturally occurring fungi in our microbiome, but when it gets too high and it gets unchecked, when we take lots of antibiotics, Candida tends to grow back stronger every time we take antibiotics. So it becomes harmful when there's an imbalance of it. We see all these different symptoms where I definitely think it could be contributing here to the constipation, the diarrhea, the skin issues, the anxiety, depression, oral thrush, UTIs, vaginal infections. So all these different things can be signs and symptoms of Candida. So that's going to be a target of our intervention as well. We know lactobacilli, bifidobacteria, they are also really great for inhibiting Candida. And one major one that is really, really good for fighting it is S. boulardii. So that's what I'm going to have you take first. It's a specific probiotic yeast that's a beneficial strain in reducing Candida, helps prevent regrowth, helps regulate the microbiome homeostasis, helps resolve any loose stools. So it actually prevents the Candida from adhering to the cell wall and helps break down any biofilms that Candida might use to protect itself. So I did link a study here in case you wanted to do any further reading, but no worries. So that is definitely a major part of what we will be doing. And let's see. Okay, so a little bit more recommendations. We want to increase foods that help reduce fungal overgrowth. You really want to be having the 3 meals with 3 to 4 hours between each meals and not be snacking a ton between each meal. For constipation, we really do want to be giving our gut a few hours rest between a meal. And especially as well, you want to give your gut a few hours rest before bed. So like 2 hours would be good. But if you are hungry, listen to your body and you can have a snack. It's just recommended that most days you're not eating too close to bedtime. So we give that gut some rest over the overnight fast. You want to be thinking about how you're chewing, because it's really important to chew really well so we can break down the food before it gets to our gut and reduces nausea, improves our digestive processes and absorption. We want to reduce, but not eliminate, refined grains, starches, white carbs, sugar. All these things increase Candida overgrowth and feed those Candida fungi. So we don't want to be just eating lots of starches and sugar that promote the growth of them as we're trying to get rid of them. We want to increase foods that support digestion and bioflow. There's a lot of bitter foods and citruses that are great for this: avocado, healthy fats, broccoli sprouts, nuts, and seeds. Ginger tea is amazing on an empty stomach for you to help with your motility and help with your constipation and migrating motor complex function. So let me know if you will try that. I also will send you a little dandelion root tea because I love that for liver support and just improving congestion of the liver with constipation. We also want to be thinking about increasing plant diversity, like we said. So I may have you do like a fun little 30 plants challenge where you count the number of plants that you eat in 7 days and try to increase it each time. We also don't want to be having too much coffee on an empty stomach, especially if you're having nausea in the morning. You want to have a glass of water first, and even better to have breakfast, water, breakfast, then coffee. These are some foods that are amazing for fighting Candida. So I'll send you also like a little meal plan after you're making some changes, let's say over this next weekend. I'll send you like Monday or Tuesday, probably a little updated meal plan just with some more ideas that help you kind of incorporate some of these foods and not really, I don't want you to feel like you're doing a complete 180 overnight. So we just want to be incorporating some of these foods, get you eating more microbiome friendly and fiber friendly in a slow and realistic way. Also, pretty much by the end of the program, I would say I would love for you to be eating a few servings of probiotic foods per week. I wonder if you'll like yogurt, you can let me know, but that's usually the most well accepted one. Apple cider vinegar is also good for probiotics, kimchi, sauerkraut. So let me know how you feel about yogurt. It doesn't have to be lactose free, but I like definitely low sugar. There are ones now that like there's Chobani that's zero sugar that has stevia. So I love that one. We also will be focusing on foods high in omega-3s like wild salmon, chia seeds, ground flax seeds, walnuts, avocado, pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds. All these are really, really great for one, omega-3s, and two, constipation. You also want to be becoming more aware of industrial seed oils. So I have a whole Amazon list that has minimally processed snacks and cakes and cookies and things like that, because these seeds are in so many processed and packaged foods. So I would love for you to try out some alternative brands that reduce these industrial seed oils that are really inflammatory to the gut, to the brain, and just really aren't good for our overall health. So this is your recommended water intake. I know we said for right now, we're starting with like 40 ounces because you're pretty low on the hydration level. So, ideally we'd love to see you get to like 90 ounces of water per day. So that's, maybe in a month or two. We also talked about those LMNT packets, and I'm going to send you also, it should be in your module section as well, like a mineral mocktail PDF booklet where you'll see some recipes for really, really good hydration. So it's basically better than drinking water. And there's some recipes with like coconut water, pineapple juice, pomegranate juice, lime juice. So let me know if you try any of these because they're excellent for energy, cellular hydration, and constipation. So these are some supplement recommendations. Again, these will change throughout the program, but these are what I think right now is going to give you the most bang for your buck in supporting your diet changes, helping you feel better, helping improve your digestion, and helping improve the microbiome balance. So I'll be sending you the first one, which is Candida Remove, which is an herbal antimicrobial that gently helps rebalance the microbiome. So it's really good for killing fungi. It's because you've been antibiotics a lot. So the fungi has been allowed to just go wild. So we want to reduce fungi, improve pathogenic bacterial ratio with good bacteria. We're kind of like weeding out the garden right before we plant new flowers. That's kind of the, synonym and metaphor I want you to think about. And that will definitely be helpful for UTIs and definitely altered stools and the gut-brain axis. Even helping to support your skin, your anxiety, and depression. And so these four actually are recommended for you to get on FullScript, which is my professional supplement dispensary that is 10% off all supplements, which is great. And you get lifetime access. So you can always get additional supplements anytime you want after the program. So the first one I'm recommending is HCl, pancreatic and bile extract. So definitely because of the nausea, the indigestion, the reflux, the loose stool, sometimes the constipation, this is really going to help with your upper stomach digestion because digestion starts from the top down. We really want to have good upper stomach digestion, especially if we suspect you're not having great bile flow. We really want to make sure that we're supporting that, and you can take them. We'll figure out a good dosage for you based on your symptoms and how well they improve. Usually it's like one per meal, but we might not need them 3 times a day. Then I definitely recommend a high quality multivitamin with minerals to fill in the gaps right now of what you're not getting from having a super wide variety in your diet. So we definitely will benefit from the B vitamins and B12 with better energy levels. We really want to support the thyroid health with selenium, the gut health with zinc, folate. All these things are really important for our metabolism and our gut health. Then that Candida fighting probiotic that I talked about, that S. boulardii, which is amazing. That's another recommendation, as well as Fibermen by Thorne. So this is a specific type of fiber called PHGG. It's really, really great for improving constipation, supporting daily and complete bowel movements, improving your gut motility, so helping everything move along a little quicker even. And it acts as a prebiotic. So basically it's food for good gut bacteria to improve microbial balance in the gut. So all these are kind of working together to get to your end goal of feeling a lot better and having a good gut health. Here's that balanced meal formula with half your plate veggies, a quarter plate starch, and a quarter plate lean protein, and a little serving of healthy fats. And I have different options here for each one. And of course, like I said, I'm going to give you a little meal plan to just help you out with this and give you more ideas. These are just some more tips on each one, kind of expanding and giving some ideas for each of the portion of the plate, giving you some healthy ideas that are great for gut health, good for anti-inflammation, good for complete bowel movements. And here's just a little bit more about snacking. You want to really just think about your snacks, and we don't want to be grazing all day because that's really not good for our motility and constipation. So you want to have an intentional snack when you need it. You want to think, am I dehydrated first before you go for snacking? Most of the time we are super dehydrated, but if you realize you're not dehydrated and you want a snack, definitely have a snack, you know? Then we have, let's see, foods that contain digestive enzymes to support digestion, like citrus foods, ginger, papaya, pineapple, kiwi. Avoid the kiwi, like we said. I know you're allergic. And this is just a little bit more about a balanced breakfast. So we really want to be having a high protein, not super high fat, but not having a carb only breakfast like pancakes, waffles, cereal, donut. All these things are going to send your blood sugar up, spiking very quickly. Even this is a non-diabetic going up to 180. We don't really ever want to be going over 126 as non-diabetic. So that 126 usually indicates a diabetic range. So we want to make sure that we're getting this even blood sugar control throughout the day. We do that by getting increased protein and more fiber at our breakfast. So here's a good kind of picture of what a healthy breakfast plate will look like. Again, I'll give you more ideas. You can still do things like maybe oatmeal or toast with peanut butter, things like that, that can be good in, like, have good carbohydrates, but not carb only. That's our goal. So this has some eggs, it has some avocado for healthy fats, it has some sauerkraut, which would be awesome for probiotics. That'd be a bonus. Getting some even vegetables in there would be good, and some raspberries. You don't have to do that. You can do blackberries, you can do blueberries. So that would be awesome. And these are just some more wellness tips. Definitely read through this when you get a chance. Here I also linked my Amazon page, like I said before, with lots of different options for snacks and just teas and different, like there's certain protein powders on there. If you want to add any protein powder or collagen, we'll have a collagen linked here. That's really great for adding protein to your breakfast or adding it to your tea or your coffee. That's really, really great for the gut lining and repairing that gut lining. It has great amino acids for that. Stomach acid, I don't think this is a problem for you, so I'm not really going to harp on that. Then we have just more ways to optimize your fiber intake, just more ideas for increasing your fiber throughout the day. So read through this, let me know if you have questions, ways to limit your refined sugar. And again, we'll be going over some of these topics in detail, like on our live call. So don't feel like you have to memorize everything right now. And you could always ask me questions, obviously, after you read through this. I have a gut healthy snack list for more ideas. And I have, again, my Amazon link there as well for more snack ideas. And I have some direct links on here as well for some bars, things like that. Seed bars, low sugar kind bars, which I love. The Chomps are epic grass-fed meat sticks because they are blood sugar friendly and high protein, and they have high quality meat. Hard-boiled eggs with strawberries, brown rice cakes with natural peanut butter and strawberries. So there's lots of different variety of things that you can try. We also have a little meal prep guide of different foods that you can make ahead of time to make it easier throughout the week to grab things and go, or assemble a healthy bowl really quickly. Like, let's say you make some quinoa, or even if you get like the microwavable quinoa and brown rice and keep them in the cupboard, super easy to pop them in the microwave and you have a whole grain for your meal. You could do some roasting of vegetables, either green beans or broccoli or cauliflower. You could do like a full sheet pan at the beginning of the week, and then you have them to throw in a bowl and mix it in a bowl. You can make the salad dressing here. You definitely don't have to make salad dressing, but I love this one just because it's using olive oil. It's not using a lot of junky oils that they use at the grocery store, but I do have like Primal Kitchen, which is my favorite brand. That's on the Amazon page if you want to check that out. And we have roasted sweet potatoes. So we have different ideas to help make your life easier if you want to do some prep work on like a Sunday or Monday to get you ready for the week and make you feel a little bit more confident going into the week with your choices. And then I just have some recipes. So a turmeric tea, maybe your mom would want to make that with you, and that's really great for inflammation. An organic bone broth. I don't really expect you to make that because it's kind of complicated. This is a strawberry and almond butter oatmeal, which is really tasty. And I'll send you some more recipes. If you look in your document section, you should have a gut healthy recipe ideas whole folder. So definitely check that out with more recipes. But I just included a few in here. This is a blueberry smoothie. So again, ask me any questions you have. I'm here to help you. I will be sending you the full script. I'm just going to stop my share. I'm going to be sending you the full script recommendations for the 4 supplements that I'll be recommending for you to start at this time. And then I'll be ordering for you the Candida Remove for you to start taking for improving dysbiosis. I'll be checking back in on your roadmap this whole week with adding some more check boxes of things to complete. I'll send you a little chart in the roadmap that shows some barriers to success that we can think about that are gonna, maybe obstacles on your journey that we could talk through. So I hope you found this really helpful. I'm really excited to help you through this journey, and I will talk to you soon. And again, our next call will be Wednesday, March 1st. So I think you said you can join. So I'm really glad about that. Talk to you soon, Kaylee.